Hello, everyone. Welcome to Reddit Visuals. Some people will smile in your face while teaching your kid to despise you. They weaponize love like a debit card, and the worst part is, they make your own child the one swiping it. I'm the dad in this story. I'm not new to paying bills, but I am brand new to paying attention to the right things: respect, boundaries, consequences. For years, I overpaid the first two and underpaid the last one. That ended the day my 16-year-old son parroted a line he didn't write, and I realized I'd been funding my own disrespect. It started on a Tuesday night so ordinary I could have sworn it was harmless. I was in my office, reconciling business expenses and planning my son's weekend schedule. Practice times, tournament fees, rides. He's a striker with a real shot at a scholarship. We split custody on paper, but in practice I take the invisible jobs. The rides at 6 a.m., new cleats after he blows a seam, doctor visits when he sprains an ankle, the boring, steady things that never make Instagram. I do them because he's my kid, not because anyone's watching. His mom, my ex-wife, remarried 2 years ago. Enter the stepdad. Travis, loud handshake, quiet bank account, a man who thinks a firm tone is the same as leadership and that saying champ makes him a father. I wanted to keep the peace. I told myself kids need calm more than they need a scoreboard of who pays what. So I swallowed comments, wrote checks, and figured time would prove me right. My wife now, Sarah, she warned me months ago. She said, "You're teaching him you're optional." I didn't listen. I should have. The message came at 9:41 p.m. I'll never forget the timestamp. It was one of those texts that looks simple until it detonates everything. "Hey, FYI, I'll be at Mom's more." I answer to Travis now. "You're just the ex with a wallet." I stared at the screen, felt the blood leave my face, and read it again. For a second I thought it was a joke. My son doesn't talk like that. He's goofy and literal, all elbows and honesty. Ex with a wallet is not his voice. It's a line someone says out loud enough times for a kid to carry it like gospel. I walked into the living room where Sarah was reading. I handed her my phone without a word. She read it, and her jaw tightened. She didn't say, "I told you so." She just said, "What are you going to do?" That's when I knew. I wasn't going to negotiate anymore. I called my son. No answer. Tried again. Straight to voicemail. I texted, "Who told you to send that?" He replied 4 minutes later, "Nobody. It's just facts. Travis says real men pay and shut up. And Mom agrees. So stop asking me questions and pay my fees if you want me to play this season." You know that sensation when a floor that was always solid suddenly tilts? I set the phone down and walked around the room until the anger cooled from lava to steel. Sarah touched my shoulder and said, "You don't owe anyone an apology for setting boundaries." She was right. I wasn't going to scream or plead. I was done auditioning for the job I already had. Instead, I opened a clean document and wrote a heading in size 18 bold, "Household Budget, effective immediately." 4 lines underneath it: food, shelter, medicine, school essentials. That was the list. Not whatever you demand, not what keeps me in your good graces. The essentials. I printed it, signed it, and slid it into a folder. Then I opened my banking app and started dismantling the kingdom I'd built for people who called me the help. Step 1. Freeze every card I was not legally required to keep open. The extras for convenience? Gone. The gas card in the glove compartment for emergencies that turned into Slurpees and late-night wings? Deactivated. The sports autopays that made money disappear each month without a conversation? Canceled. Effective end of billing cycle. Step 2. Remove my name from anything they controlled but didn't respect. The family phone plan I paid? Number ported my line out, then sent a calm email. You have 30 days notice. Plan terminates at the end of next billing cycle. Please arrange your own service. No insults, no lectures, just facts with a deadline. Step 3. Consult my attorney. I wasn't playing petty, I was playing legal. I asked a simple question: what am I obligated to pay and what am I enabling? We reviewed the custody order. I was current and then some. The extras I'd always covered out of guilt or habit were not required. Document everything, my attorney said. Then set boundaries in writing. Keep emotion out of it. Let their choices meet their consequences. The next morning, I emailed my ex and CC'd my attorney. Subject line: financial transition and co-parenting boundaries. I attached the one-page budget and a spreadsheet of what I'd paid for the last 18 months. Every tournament fee, every pair of cleats, every urgent care bill. I wrote, effective immediately, I will cover food, shelter, medicine, and school essentials directly, not through cash transfers. I will not pay for non-essentials such as tournaments, car modifications, streaming services, or discretionary purchases. Requests for non-essentials require receipts and advanced discussion. Please direct any commentary to counsel. I hit send. Sarah read it over my shoulder and squeezed my hand. Then I printed it, filed it, and waited. At 4:16 p.m., my ex called. I let it ring. Then she texted, "What is this?" "You can't just cut him off like this," I replied. "Read the document. Nothing essential is cut. Non-essentials are now earned and planned, not demanded." She fired back. "Travis says a real father doesn't make a child beg." I typed and erased and finally sent, "A real father doesn't let a child be trained to disrespect him. A real father teaches accountability." I'm doing that now. 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed with a group text. My son, my ex, Travis, and me. Travis led with, "Big man flexing on a kid." "Real classy move," I replied. "Please keep your commentary about fatherhood off my phone." Then, instead of letting it go, Travis sent a voice note to a separate chat with just my ex and my son. But my son, wanting to vent about me, forwarded the entire conversation to two of his teammates. In that voice note, Travis was performing. You could hear it. Condescending like he was hosting a podcast. "Bro, your dad's role is simple. Pay and vanish. He's not your drill sergeant. I'm in the house now. You answer to me. He had his time. This is my family now, not his." One of those teammates, a kid named Josh who I'd driven home from practice a dozen times, screen recorded the voice note and sent it to me with a message. "Mr. J, I don't know what's going on, but this doesn't seem right. Thought you should know people are hearing this stuff." I saved that recording immediately. Backed it up to 3 places. Travis had just handed me a weapon he didn't know existed. 2 weeks passed. I paid for groceries when my son was at my place. I covered his doctor's appointment when he rolled his ankle. I fulfilled every obligation, but I didn't fill the gaps. The gaps started to show. My son texted me twice asking for gas money. I replied, "Gas is discretionary. Budget your earnings." He didn't respond. A week later, I saw his Snapchat story. Him and Travis at a restaurant, Travis paying, caption reading, "Real ones step up." Sarah saw it too. She said, "He's testing you." Don't flinch, I didn't. Then came the first real test. Regional tournament, 4 weeks out. Entry fee, $375, due in 14 days. My son texted me on a Wednesday night at 11:02. "Need $375 by next Friday for regionals." I had my response ready. I'd been rehearsing it in my head for days. Per the budget I sent, tournaments are optional expenses. If you'd like to discuss participation, I need the following by next Thursday at 6 p.m. A written plan showing what you're contributing financially, what work or service hours you're offering, and why this tournament matters for your development. Tone must be respectful. We can discuss then. He wrote back, "LOL, you're ridiculous. Travis said you'll cave. Mom says you're being abusive and she's going to call her lawyer." I replied, "I'm available Thursday at 6. If you'd like, we can include your coach on the call so he understands the situation." Radio silence for days. Thursday came. 6 p.m. passed. My phone stayed quiet. At 6:28, my phone rang. It wasn't my son. It was Coach Davis. "Hey," he said, voice low and cautious. "I heard there's some family stuff going on. I'll be straight with you. Your son is talented, but he's been acting entitled at practice, complaining about effort, talking back, and now I'm hearing about money issues and lawyers." I exhaled slowly. "Coach, I'm not abandoning him. I'm changing how I support him. I'll still cover school essentials and anything we agree on in advance. But I'd like to propose something. Can we create a work trade system? Let him do scoreboard duty, help with youth clinics, equipment setup. He needs to feel cost, not entitlement." Coach Davis paused, and I could hear him thinking. Then, "You know what? I wish more parents did this. Let me put together some options and I'll email you a proposal by Sunday night. Sunday evening, the email came. 4 hours of youth clinic work on Saturdays, scoreboard duty for 3 home games, plus a $50 minimum contribution from my son's part-time job at the grocery store. In exchange, I'd cover the remainder of the tournament fee, but only if he completed the work before the deadline. I forwarded the plan to my son with one line. This is the path. You contribute time and effort, I contribute dollars. That's what men do. He left me on read until the tournament registration deadline passed on Friday. Then, late that night. Whatever. Travis says I don't have to dance for you like a trained dog. Mom's gonna pay it, but she didn't. Couldn't, I imagine. Travis's loud handshake doesn't come with a matching wallet. My son didn't go to regionals. That Saturday morning, for the first time in 2 years, I didn't set my alarm for 5:30 a.m. Sarah made pancakes. We sat on the porch with coffee. It was quiet. It was good. Here's where people will accuse me of pettiness. They didn't hear their kid call them an ATM with a mouth. They didn't spend years being the safety net for people who turned around and taught that same kid to spit on the net. 3 weeks later, small cracks started forming. The car insurance payment I'd always auto-paid? I moved it to a policy in my name with my son as a listed driver, contingent on maintaining a B average and no documented disrespect. I emailed the terms to my ex. If he loses coverage due to grades below B average or verifiable disrespectful behavior, he cannot drive a vehicle I insure. This is non-negotiable. She responded, "You're trying to control him from your wallet." I replied, "I'm parenting from my values." Travis sent me a private text at 1 a.m, probably drunk. "You're a coward hiding behind money. Real men don't punish kids." I didn't respond, but I screenshot it and filed it. A week later, my son texted me a photo. No message. Just a picture of his English progress report. Grade bumped from C- to B. I stared at it for a full minute. Then I renewed his insurance that afternoon and replied, "Proud of you. Keep it up. No lecture. No sermon. Just a door open because he'd knocked the right way." Sarah saw the text exchange and smiled. She said, "He's learning. Slowly, but he's learning." Then came the moment that changed everything. Parent-teacher conferences. I showed up early, sat in the back row of the cafeteria, and listened as his math teacher mentioned missing assignments and his counselor gently referenced ongoing family transitions, with a look that made me feel like a case study in dysfunction. After the group session ended, I approached the counselor and asked if we could have a brief private meeting. She agreed and suggested I invite my ex. I did. My ex showed up 20 minutes later with Travis in tow, uninvited but unbothered, wearing a smirk like he'd already won something. We sat in a small conference room with chairs too small and air too thick. The counselor started with the usual script about communication and blended families and how kids need consistency. I waited until she finished. Then I pulled a folder from my bag and set it on the table. Inside, bank statements showing every payment I'd made in 18 months, receipts, printed emails, the budget I'd signed, my attorney's memo outlining my legal obligations versus discretionary support. And there, printed in color on the top of the stack, was a transcript of Travis's voice note with a QR code linking to the audio file Josh had sent me. "Pay and vanish. You answer to me. This is my family now, not his." Travis stared at that paper like it was a mirror, and he hated the man looking back. My ex went pale, then oddly, dangerously calm. The kind of calm that means the argument is already over, because reality just walked into the room. I spoke quietly. No anger, just clarity. "Here's what's going to happen. I will continue to provide food, shelter, medicine, and school essentials for my son, as required by law and my own standards. I will communicate directly with his teachers and coach about his progress. I will not engage with insults, ambushes, or disrespect funneled through my child. If you encourage respect, you'll have a cooperative co-parent. If you encourage contempt, you'll have a man who documents everything and proceeds exclusively through legal channels. Your choice." The counselor didn't soften it. She just nodded and said, "I think clear boundaries are healthiest for everyone here, especially for your son." Travis muttered something about power trips under his breath. I slid the transcript an inch closer to him. "This isn't a power trip. This is evidence, and if you ever use my son to deliver your opinions about me again, we'll be reading them to a family court judge. Are we clear?" He didn't answer, just stared at the table. My ex finally spoke, voice tight. "This is humiliating," I replied, calm as Sunday morning. "Then maybe stop creating situations that require documentation." That night, my son showed up at my door. He had the posture of someone who's half sure he's walking into an ambush. I didn't yell. I made him a sandwich, the kind with turkey and cheese he used to ask for after practice when he was younger, and I let him talk. He didn't apologize. Didn't know how, I think. He said, "I heard you showed Travis some stuff at the school." I replied, "I showed adults their own words. If that embarrassed them, they should have written a different script." He stared at his plate, then came for me. "You think money makes you a dad?" "Travis says you're just trying to buy me back because you can't compete with him." I smiled, but it was tired. I thought money could buy peace. Turns out I was wrong. Respect isn't purchased. It's earned through decisions, and I'm making mine now. You're welcome to join me when you're ready. He went quiet, chewed slowly, then asked, softer than I'd heard him speak in months, "If I did the clinic hours, would you still help with the next tournament?" "If you do the work and show me a plan, yes. That's always been the offer." He nodded. I saw something shift in his face. Not surrender, recognition. Over the next 6 weeks, things thawed in inches, not miles. He started texting me logistics without the sarcasm. He sent screenshots of submitted assignments. He asked if I'd help him edit his highlight reel for college scouts, and when I said yes, he showed up with his laptop, and we sat at my kitchen table trimming clips. He told me Travis said highlight reels were just hype, and real talent didn't need editing. I told him every professional edits everything. He nodded and kept cutting. Sarah brought us snacks and didn't hover. She just smiled and let us work. He picked clips where he assisted as much as he scored. He was learning the difference between being the main character and being part of a team. Then, 8 weeks after I froze the cards, the big one arrived. The regional showcase, the one scouts attend, college coaches, the kind of event that can change a kid's future. Entry fee was steep, travel, lodging, meals. Total cost, nearly $800. 6 weeks before the showcase, Coach Davis and I finalized the work trade plan. My son grumbled at first, but committed. He did 4 Saturday clinics with younger kids. He ran scoreboard for 6 home games. He saved $140 from his grocery store job, putting away $20 each paycheck. He was still $235 short. I told him, "If you want this, I need a written plan on my desk by Thursday at 7 p.m., not 7:15, 7. And it needs to show me you understand what you're asking for and what you're willing to give." Thursday came, 7 p.m. passed. I made dinner with Sarah, figuring that was that. She squeezed my hand and said, "You did the right thing either way." At 7:23, my doorbell rang. My son stood there, hoodie up, hands stuffed in his pockets, holding a piece of notebook paper folded in half. His eyes weren't defiant anymore. They were uncertain, humble even. His plan was scribbled but solid. He'd skip 2 weekend outings with friends, saving another $60. He'd commit to 4 additional clinic hours the week after the showcase. He'd pay me back $60 from his next 2 paychecks. At the bottom, in his messy handwriting, "I know I messed up. I want to earn this." I read it twice, feeling something tight in my chest loosen. I nodded and said, "Deal." "I'm proud of you for showing up." I transferred the money directly to the club that night with a note, showcase fee for son's name, paid per agreed plan. He read the confirmation email over my shoulder, then read it again. When he said thanks, it didn't sound like a reflex. It sounded like he meant it. Sarah hugged him before he left. He hugged her back. We left at 4 a.m. the day of the showcase. Thermos of coffee for me, thermos of hot chocolate for him. The highway was dark and empty. He didn't fill the silence with complaints or Travis quotes. We talked about positioning, strategy, how to stand out to scouts without showboating. He listened in a way he hadn't in months. He played like someone who knows things cost what they cost. Clean, smart, unselfish. After his second match, I saw a scout take notes while watching him. My son saw it too. His eyes went wide for just a second, Then he forced them back to neutral. But I saw it. Hope looks different when you've worked for it. Travis and my ex showed up around midday. Sunglasses, coffee cups, casual like they'd been there all along. Travis clapped my son on the back after a goal, loud and performative like he'd been coaching from the sidelines. My ex hovered by the fence, eyes on the scouts, probably already drafting the Facebook post. After the day's matches, there was a brief parents' meeting. The head coach thanked volunteers and then said, "I also want to recognize our new clinic partnership program. We've had players earn their way into showcases by working with younger kids, and I can't tell you how much character that builds. It's not about the money, it's about the work." He glanced at my son, then at me, and gave a small nod. That nod was worth more than any argument I could have won. Travis, because he can't help himself, muttered just loud enough for the group to hear, "Yeah, well, the money still came from somewhere, didn't it?" The coach looked at him, not unkindly, but firmly, and said, "It came from a 16-year-old who wrote a plan, honored his commitments, and showed up every Saturday for a month. We just supported the process." A few parents nearby nodded. Travis went quiet. That silence was sweeter than any insult I could have thrown. On the drive home, the sun setting orange through the windshield, my son said, staring straight ahead, "Travis told Mom you'd give in eventually, because you need me to love you." I gripped the wheel, breathed, then said, "I need you to learn how to love yourself in a way that doesn't require stepping on other people. If you love me one day, that's a bonus, but it's not the job. The job is teaching you how to be a man who keeps his word." He didn't respond for miles, then quietly, "Are you really going to have more kids? With Sarah?" I kept my eyes on the road. "Maybe. Sarah and I talk about it. If we do, they'll grow up in a house where respect isn't optional, where people don't teach kids to weaponize love. I've learned I'm a good dad. I'm just not going to audition for it in a house where I'm the punchline anymore." He swallowed hard. I think he understood that some doors don't slam. They just close quietly to keep the cold out. 3 weeks after the showcase, emails started coming. Small programs at first. Then a call from a solid Division II school asking for his transcripts and full game footage. My son forwarded me the email. They want everything. Transcripts, reel, coach recommendation. "Can you help?" I said yes. We sat together, worked through the application checklist. He wrote his essay and let me proofread it. He kept wanting to focus on his stats. I kept pushing him toward the growth, the work ethic, the clinics. Eventually he listened. He still spends most of his time at his mom's. That's fine. She still doesn't like me. That's her right. Travis avoids me now. The air isn't breathable for him in rooms where facts live. I don't gloat. I document. I pay for what matters. I require respect as the cost of admission to anything extra. Last week he texted me at 8:14 p.m. "Can't make clinic tomorrow. Got a double shift at work. Can we reschedule for Sunday?" I replied, "Proud of you for working." "Yes, Sunday works." 2 minutes later, another text. "Hey, I'm sorry about what I said. You know, the wallet thing. That was messed up." He didn't need to say it again. We both knew. I typed back, "I forgive you. Let's move forward." That was it. No speech, no ceremony, just a bridge rebuilt one text at a time. Sarah read the exchange and wrapped her arms around me from behind while I sat at the kitchen table. She didn't say anything. She didn't need to. We're building something here. Something that doesn't crumble the first time someone tests it. Here's the part where people want fireworks and a tearful reunion speech. There isn't one. There's just Tuesday dinners where he eats all the breadsticks and leaves one shoe by the door. There's a savings account in his name he doesn't know about yet. There's a life Sarah and I are building where respect isn't negotiable and love doesn't come with slogans. Was I harsh? Maybe. Was I the a-hole? That's your call to make. But I taught my son that money follows values, not volume. I cut off the adults who were feasting on his future. I refused to be the punchline in a script I was paying to produce. So I'm asking you, was I wrong for closing the wallet and freezing every card until respect walked back into the room? What would you have done if your kid texted you that you're just the ex with a wallet and that he answers to a man who isn't his father? Drop your verdict in the comments. Tell me what you'd do differently. If this story hit home, Please subscribe and hit like. It helps us grow and brings more real stories to people who need to hear them. Thanks for watching.